New Year always comes with countdown sounds, fireworks, and silent promises that are only spoken in the heart. But for Cha Eun-woo, the new year is not just a change of numbers on the calendar. This year feels like a long-awaited white page, a page that contains the courage, maturity, and determination that he has kept so tightly. When the clock showed the seconds of the beginning of the new year, the public saw her trademark smile as always, calm, warm, and full of good manners. But behind the glare of cameras and the cheers of fans, there is a deeper story about life plans, about career direction, about love for fans, and about himself, who now stands at the crossroads between the past and the future. Cha Eun-woo's name has for years been synonymous with perfect visuals, stable talent, and a seemingly flawless image of the ideal man. But this new year, he subtly shifted that narrative. On various occasions, he has said that this year is not about being the brightest, but about being more true to yourself. That simple statement immediately caught my attention. Many wonder, what does it mean? What has changed from the Cha Eun-woo that the world knows? At the beginning of the year, Eun-woo talked about a plan that no longer focuses only on results, but processes. He said he wanted to live the days with full awareness, enjoying the little things that were often missed. Get up early without haste, read the script more calmly, practice acting not just to look good, but to really understand the emotions of the characters. To the public, this may sound familiar, but for a public figure whose life is set on a tight schedule, this is a big decision. The new year for him also means the courage to rearrange dreams. Eun-woo admits that she has often felt that she has to meet the expectations of many people, agencies, industries, fans, even the standards she sets herself. This year, she wants to learn to sort out which expectations build and which slowly erode happiness. She did not call this rebellion, but maturity, a process that comes with age and experience. In his most moving statement, Eun-woo said that the new year is an opportunity to forgive yourself. This became a heated discussion. Forgive yourself for unspoken fatigue, for the doubts that are often hidden behind a professional smile, and for decisions that may not be perfect. He wants to move forward without carrying the unnecessary burden of the past. The new year for him is a space to breathe. The new story that began this year also reflects in the way Eun-woo views his career. He no longer simply chooses safe projects, but becomes interested in challenges that test his limits. Roles with complex emotions, stories that are not always sweet, and characters that may be far from a perfect image. He wanted the audience to see another side of him, not to shock, but to be honest. In an entertainment world that often demands image consistency, this step feels bold. On the music side, Eun-woo spoke about his desire to be more emotionally involved, not just singing, but telling stories. He wanted the songs he performed to be a place to lean on for the listener, like the music that used to accompany him in difficult times. This new year, he hopes to present a more personal work, born from real experiences and feelings. For fans, this sounds like a warm promise that the relationship between the artist and the listener will be noticeably closer. It's undeniable, the talk about Cha Eun-woo's new year is also inseparable from the topic of personal life. But in an adult way, he insists that this year he wants to keep the balance, not shut down, but provide a healthy private space. He believes that in order to give his best in front of the public, he must first take care of himself. This view has received a lot of support, especially from fans who grew up with him and understand the pressure he faces. New Year's Eve became a symbolic moment. As many people celebrate with the crowd, Eun-woo chooses reflection. Last year taught her about the meaning of losing time and the importance of being fully present in every moment. He no longer wants to postpone happiness with the excuse of later after this or later when it's over. This year, he wants to live in the moment. The sentence is simple, but feels very human. The new story that began this year also means a new way of communicating with fans. EUNWOO emphasized that fan support is not something he takes for granted. This year, he wants to convey his gratitude more often with actions, not just words, whether through a more sincere work, warmer interactions, or more meaningful presence. He wants fans to feel accompanied, not just greeted from a distance. There was a tinge of emotion when EUNWOO talked about the future, not out of fear, but out of respect for time. He realized that every year brings inevitable changes. This new year, he did not promise to always be strong, but promised to always try to be honest. He did not promise perfection, but sincerity. For many, this is the most touching version of Cha Eun-woo, not the most radiant, but the most real. The public responded enthusiastically. The media referred to this year as Cha Eun-woo's new era, while fans saw it as a journey they wanted to follow together. Supportive comments flooded his every statement. Many feel represented by his desire to start over, to restructure life more gently on oneself. Cha Eun-woo, without patronizing, seemed to invite everyone to do the same. This new year and new story is not about striking drastic changes. Quite the contrary, it is about deep, subtle changes, about how to look at yourself, how to love your job, and how to appreciate the people around you. EUNWOO didn't come with a big manifesto, but with quiet honesty. In a noisy world, that calmness feels powerful. As the days of the year go by, one thing becomes clear. EUNWOO doesn't want to run. He wants to walk one step at a time with full awareness. He wants every project to have meaning, every meeting to leave an impression, and every end of the day to bring a sense of enough. This new year, he chose quality over quantity, depth over speed. At the end of his reflection, EUNWOO expressed a simple wish. May this year be a year where he and everyone can be more courageous to be themselves, not get caught up in comparisons, not be afraid of change, and not forget to thank you on this day. The new year, for him, is not about leaving everything behind, but bringing lessons with a lighter heart. My plan this year, he said, is to live more honestly. That sentence closed an old story and opens a new one, a start that is not jarring but powerful, a new year that doesn't promise perfection but offers sincerity. And that's where Cha Eun-woo's new story really begins. This story takes us further into the year he is living, when resolutions are no longer just the opening words of the year, but slowly transforming into habits. Cha Eun-woo's days in the new year run at a different rhythm, not slower, but more purposeful. He became known not only as a person who is always ready in front of the camera, but as a person who knows when to stop for a moment and listen to himself. In the constant rush, there are small pauses that he now takes very seriously, pauses to think, to feel, and to understand. Many people don't realize that the biggest changes are often invisible. The same goes for EUNWOO. He did not announce any big transformations, nor did he make dramatic declarations, but the people around him began to feel the difference. The way he read the script longer, the way he discussed with the director more openly, and his attitude was more reflective after the shooting was over. This new year taught him that asking questions is not a sign of weakness, but rather evidence of a desire to grow. In the middle of this year's journey, EUNWOO talks more and more about the meaning of enough. That word became important to him. Enough effort today, enough honesty to feelings, enough self-respect. He realized that all this time he was used to chasing more, better, more perfect, more recognized. Now he's learned that enough doesn't stop ambition, it nourishes it. Ambition born from calm is much stronger than ambition born from fear. The new year also leads him to warmer relationships with the closest people. EUNWOO reveals that he wants to contact his family more often, listening to simple stories that never make the news. He wants to laugh without burden, eat without haste, and go home without guilt because he feels he always has to be productive. In a world that measures a person's worth of achievement, this decision feels like a tacit statement about humanity.
The fans also see this side as a gift. They not only watched their idol work, but also grow. Each message he delivered felt more personal, as if he was no longer speaking from a high stage, but from an equal distance. This new year, EUNWOO did not stand above the fans, but rather walked with them. He does not claim to know everything, but invites to study together. Over time, this new story formed a broader narrative. The media began to highlight not just what he did, but how he lived it. News headlines are no longer just about visuals or popularity, but rather about the maturity of attitudes and choices. EUNWOO exemplifies that change doesn't have to be hard to feel. Sometimes, change is pretty consistent and honest. On one occasion, he said that this new year, he wanted to be more courageous in saying no, not because of refusing opportunities, but because of respecting self-limits. He learned that taking care of yourself is part of professionalism. This statement resonates, especially among the younger generation, who often feel guilty when they refuse. From Cha EUNWOO, they learn that choosing yourself is not selfish. This new story is also tinged with a deeper sense of gratitude. EUNWOO didn't forget to remember the long journey that brought him to this point. He admits that without the support of the fans, the hard work of the team, and the opportunity that came at the right time, he would not be who he is today. New Year for him is the perfect time to pause and say thank you, not as a formality, but as a sincere confession. As the year progresses, one common thread becomes clearer. Cha EUNWOO isn't chasing the spotlight, he's chasing meaning. Every step he takes feels more conscious, every decision feels more considered. He does not rule out failure or doubt, but he is ready to face it without a mask. This new year, he chose honesty as a compass. And that's where this new story finds its strength. Not on a big buzz, but on a small consistency. Not on empty promises, but on intentions that are kept daily. Cha EUNWOO entered this year not as a figure who wants to change completely, but as a human who wants to live more fully. When the year comes to an end and the next sheet opens, perhaps what will be remembered is not the list of achievements alone, but the way he lived it. With a calmer heart, a more determined step, and the courage to be herself. This new year and new story is not just about Cha EUNWOO, but about hope, that everyone, no matter where they are, always has a chance to start again in a softer and more honest way. The story continues to flow as time goes on, and it becomes increasingly clear that Cha EUNWOO's new year is not just a symbolic momentum, but a long process that he goes through with full awareness. He begins to understand that life doesn't always have to be filled with big moments to feel meaningful. It is precisely in simple routines, repetitive rehearsals, long filming schedules, quiet trips in the car, that he finds space to be at peace with his own thoughts. This year, he learned to be fully present, even in exhaustion. There are days when pressure comes without warning. Public expectations remained high. The camera never really went out. But the difference now lies in the way EUNWOO responds. He no longer suppresses the feeling inside, but recognizes it as part of the journey. This new year taught him that to be strong does not mean to never waver, but to keep going even when the waver is there. This attitude makes him look more human, closer, and actually stronger in the eyes of many people. On various occasions, EUNWOO alluded to time. For him, time now feels more valuable than ever. He no longer wants to let the days go by without personal meaning. Every project he chooses, every commitment he receives, he always asks himself, is this in harmony with my current self? The question becomes an honest filter. This new year, he chose alignment over just busyness. This new story also brought about a change in the way he viewed the future. If in the past the future felt like a target to be conquered, now he sees it as a space to be explored with curiosity. EUNWOO is no longer in a hurry to arrive. He wants to learn along the way, accepting that not everything has to be clear now. This year, uncertainty is no longer an enemy, but a natural part of growth. Fans who followed his journey felt that change in energy. There was a calmness in the way EUNWOO spoke. There was a depth in every reflection he shared. It no longer felt like hope, but validation, that it is natural to feel tired, that it is human to doubt, and that it is never too late to start again. Without realizing it, his personal story became a mirror for many. Behind the scenes, colleagues described EUNWOO as more open to discussion and listening. He focuses not only on his own role, but also on the atmosphere around him. This new year made him realize that the best results are born from healthy cooperation, not from unilateral pressure. He learns to trust the process and the people around him. There's one emotional thread that keeps popping up in this year's story: gratitude. EUNWOO often repeated that he did not want to forget the origin. Each achievement he views as a loan that must be kept humbly. The new year for him is a reminder that popularity can come and go, but the characters will stay longer. Therefore, he chose to treat the latter earnestly. Over time, the public began to see the results of this new approach, not in the form of sensations, but in consistency. EUNWOO appeared more mature, calmer, and more confident without needing to prove anything. This year, he made peace with the journey he chose. And when people ask what he means by new story, the answer seems simple yet profound. The new story is about life without unnecessary masks. It's about working with an honest heart, about loving yourself without having to ask permission. This new year, Cha EUNWOO is not creating a new legend, but building a more solid foundation for a long future. In the end, this story is not finished. The year is still running, and many pages have not yet been written. But one thing is certain: Cha EUNWOO entered this year with a different consciousness, not as a figure who wants to impress the world, but as a human who wants to live more fully. And from there, the new story continues to grow, slow, deep, and meaningful. This journey continues to move forward, and it feels more and more that what Cha EUNWOO is living in this new year is not a momentary phase. There's a consistent depth, as if every day he is rearranging his way of life more carefully. He is no longer in a hurry to pursue the outer version of the definition of success, but is busy building the inner version of tranquility. This year, for him, is not about how much he achieved, but how honestly he went through each step. In a seemingly ordinary day, EUNWOO begins to find meaning that used to be often missed. He realized that happiness is not always present in cheering, but often hides in moments of silence. When waiting for your turn to shoot, when hearing music alone, or when looking at the sky without an agenda. This new year taught him that life doesn't always have to be productive to feel valuable. There are days lived enough, and that is more than enough. This new story also shaped the way EUNWOO dealt with criticism and praise. If he used to tend to harbor everything, now he learns to sort. Praise he received with gratitude. Criticism he heard with a cold head. He no longer allows external assessments to determine his self-esteem. This year, he put his self-worth in a more stable place, within himself. This change makes the pace feel more steady, lighter. On several occasions, EUNWOO alluded to time. For him, time now feels more valuable than ever. He no longer wants to let the days go by without personal meaning. Every project he chooses, every commitment he receives, he always asks himself, is this in harmony with my current self? The question becomes an honest filter. This new year, he chose alignment over just busyness. This new story also brought about a change in the way he viewed the future. If in the past the future felt like a target to be conquered, now he sees it as a space to be explored with curiosity. EUNWOO was no longer in a hurry to arrive. He wants to learn along the way, accepting that not everything has to be clear now. This year, uncertainty is no longer an enemy, but a natural part of growth. Fans who followed his journey felt that change in energy. There was a calmness in the way EUNWOO spoke. There was a depth in every reflection he shared. It no longer felt like hope, but validation, that it is natural to feel tired, that it is human to doubt, and that it is never too late to start again. Without realizing it, his personal story became a mirror for many. Behind the scenes, colleagues described EUNWOO as more open to discussion and listening. He focuses not only on his own role, but also on the atmosphere around him. This new year made him realize that the best results are born from healthy cooperation, not from unilateral pressure. He learns to trust the process and the people around him.
The more days go by, the clearer it becomes that my plan for the year is not a rigid list of targets. It is an intention that continues to be adjusted as he gets to know himself more deeply. He doesn't always want to know the answer. This year, he gave space to ask, to doubt, and to change his mind. For him, flexibility is a form of wisdom. As people look forward to Cha Eun-woo's big break, he offers something even rarer, consistent sincerity. It does not promise a perfect year, but a year lived with awareness. In a fast-paced world, this choice feels bold. And perhaps that's where the strength of his new story lies. As time went on, one message quietly gained strength from this journey: that starting again doesn't necessarily mean abandoning everything. Sometimes starting again means proceeding in a more gentle way. Cha Eun-woo chose that path this new year. He walked without a fuss, but with a clear intention. And so this new story continues, not as a story full of sensations, but as a real inner journey. The new year for him is not a hard starting line, but a slowly opening door. From there, he stepped in with a calmer heart, carrying a simple but powerful hope: to live honestly, day after day. This story is still breathing as the aging days of the new year begin. Cha Eun-woo himself realizes that what he is going through is not something that can be celebrated in one night or summed up in one sentence. It's a slow, lonely journey, but that's exactly where it's worth it. This new year makes him understand that life does not always ask for quick answers, sometimes only a whole presence. There were times where EUNWOO sat alone after a long schedule, letting his mind wander aimlessly. In such moments, he learns to listen to his own inner voice, a voice that has often been clouded by schedules, demands, and expectations. This year, he is no longer afraid of silence. He found it to be the most honest place to understand who he is now. The new story he is referring to is also related to acceptance. EUNWOO begins to accept that he doesn't always have to be on top to be worth anything. He accepts that there are ordinary days that do not generate headlines, but instead form inner strength. This new year, he did not pursue validation, but rather stability, a choice that feels mature, calm, and mindful. This change slowly reflected in his way of speaking to the public. The words are simpler but full of meaning. He no longer shares big dreams with ambitious undertones, but small hopes that feel real. Happy, not noisy. Success that does not need to be exhibited. This new year, EUNWOO seemed to say that a good life doesn't always have to look grand. Fans who followed her every step felt that warmth. They no longer see only an idol, but a human being who grows with time. Many are comforted not so much by achievements as by honesty. In a world full of comparisons, EUNWOO's attitude is a reminder that everyone can walk at their own pace. In his small reflections, EUNWOO mentions several times about the courage to change direction. He admits that not all plans have to be maintained if they turn out to be no longer in harmony with the heart. This new year gives him permission to adjust the pace without guilt. He believes that changing does not mean failing, but daring to listen to yourself. This new story did not escape fear either. EUNWOO didn't turn it down. He acknowledges that the future remains uncertain. But the difference is that now he does not see uncertainty as a threat. He sees it as a space of possibility. This new year, he chose to walk side by side with fear, not against it. The further this journey goes, the stronger the impression that Cha Eun-woo is building a foundation, not just an achievement. The foundation for a long career, healthy relationships, and a balanced life. He knows that the spotlight can fade, but the value he instills in himself will stay. And perhaps that's where the crux of everything he calls my plan for the year lies. It is not a list of targets to tick off, but rather an attitude to life that he wants to keep. Be true to your feelings, gentle with yourself, and responsible for your choices. This new year is not about being the best version in the eyes of the world, but the most aligned version within. This new story is still being written, unhurried, not noisy, yet mindful. Cha Eun-woo stepped forward with a calm confidence that as long as he walked with an honest heart, any direction he took would still be meaningful. And from there, this new year really comes to life as a real, human, and hopeful journey. The plot continues, and it becomes increasingly apparent that Cha Eun-woo's new year is not about an outward change, but a profound shift within him. He begins to place himself not as the center of demands, but as a human being who also has the right to feel tired, doubt, and pause. This year, he no longer judges himself by how busy his schedule is, but by how honestly he is present in every moment he lives. There is a new consciousness that grows slowly. EUNWOO realized that all this time he had often lived one step ahead, thinking about the next project, the next target, the next expectation. This new year, he chose to return to one of the most basic things, today. What he feels today, what he can do well today, and what he can be grateful for today. The simplicity of it actually gave him the tranquility he had been looking for. This new story also brings EUNWOO to an understanding of relationships. He realized that the most important relationship is not just with fans or colleagues, but with himself. He begins to question whether he has listened enough to his body, respected enough his emotions, been honest enough with his desires. This new year, he learned to build a healthy relationship with yourself before trying to make others happy. On this trip, there were times where EUNWOO chose silence, not because he didn't have anything to say, but because he wanted to make sure that every word that came out was really meaningful. He no longer in a hurry to explain everything. This year, he understands that not everything has to be understood by others. Some are quite guarded, cared for, and understood on their own. The public may not always see these changes in plain sight, but those who follow with the heart can feel them. There's a new calmness in the way he smiles, a new depth in the way he looks at the camera. He no longer looks like someone who is trying hard to look good. He looks like someone who is at peace with himself. This new year also made EUNWOO look at success with a different point of view. If in the past, success felt like a peak to be achieved, now he sees it as a journey that can be enjoyed. He no longer was in a hurry to arrive. He wants to make sure that the steps he takes don't leave himself behind. For EUNWOO, success without calmness is not the goal. The new story that began is slowly changing the way people look at him, not just as an actor, singer, or a top visual, but as a mature figure in addressing life. He doesn't show off wisdom, but shows it through attitude. And precisely because of that, the message feels stronger. At this point, the new year no longer feels like an unfamiliar beginning. It's a comfortable place to grow. EUNWOO no longer asked if he was on the right track. He just makes sure that the path he takes is the one he consciously chooses. This year, he gave himself permission to walk without a rigid map, believing that intuition and honesty would lead him. And that's how this story keeps flowing, without chapters, not with large markers, but full of layers of meaning. Cha Eun-woo is not writing a story to admire, but a story to live. This new year and this new story bear witness to how one chooses to live a softer, more honest, and fuller life. As long as that step keeps being taken with awareness, this story will not end. It will continue to grow as time goes on, as a story of quiet courage, the courage to be yourself in the midst of a world that often asks for more.